The sheriff says because not only does it keep you safe as the brunt of this storm is hitting Seminole County, but it also means that the first responders don't have to come out and help you if you get into trouble. Of course, they're to do that, but if they're helping you, they're not only putting themselves in trouble, but they also aren't going someplace else where they might need to go and otherwise respond throughout the community. So things at this moment as I speak, not too bad here in Sanford, but we know this is an area that can get prone to flooded, and so we'll keep an eye on it here by the Riverwalk in Sanford. Back to you guys.
All right, Dana, thanks so much. Hurricane Matthew inching closer and closer.
Oh, yeah, it's a slow mover. The 11 p.m. newscast just moments away. We'll be right back with a new forecasted path.
Fox 35's Tracking the Traffic segment is brought to you by Tropical Ford. Marco Rubio has the worst attendance record of any Florida senator in 50 years.
All right, you guys, we are going to go back to our sister station as soon as that break is over. Again, you guys are watching this live right now. Hurricane Matthew. Winds up to 130 miles per hour. They've canceled several football games. South Carolina coach said his team's game with Georgia has been from Friday night to Sunday because of Hurricane Matthew. The school and the Southeastern Conference announced Thursday night that the game would be played at 2:30 p.m., but due to the potential impact of the hurricane on Columbia and the surrounding area, it's in the best interest of safety to play the game on Sunday rather than Saturday night. Again, officials are saying that winds are picking up and thousands are without power in Florida right now as Hurricane Matthew approaches. The National Hurricane Center says that the eye of Matthew is northwest of Grand Bahama Island. Now that's about 70 miles east of West Palm Beach, Florida, and a wind gust of 50 miles per hour, which has been recorded at Palm Beach International Airport. Florida Power and Light Company says that more than 30,000 customers were already without electricity, and that's about 24,000 people in Palm Beach County alone that are completely without electricity right now. Again, this is just a live look out in Florida right now as we're covering Hurricane Matthew for you guys. And if you're watching with us and you're enjoying getting all the live updates and watching the live stream, please take a moment to like our Facebook page or subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to keep seeing these live videos in your feed and join the conversation. We appreciate all your comments. But let's go back to our sister station right now where they're giving us live updates.
Water, the food, and everything, boarding things up. There has been a run on guns and ammunition because of Hurricane Matthew.
Yes, people stocking up, preparing for the worst. Kelly Joyce reports tonight from Daytona Beach.
It appears gun sales are up here in Daytona Beach, at least over at Buck's Gun Rack. I talked to the owner today. He said in the last couple of days he's seen almost double the sales he sees on any other given day. And he says most of the people he talked to said they were buying guns to protect their families and their property with Hurricane Matthew coming.
Yes, actually, we've seen a spike in the days of people buying shotguns, things, talking about worried about the possibility of looting. Had a big uptick in the amount of ammunition sold. We're open today just half a day. Of course, we're going to evacuate like everyone else. We've already sold 5 or 6 guns since we opened at 10 o'clock this morning.
Just yesterday, Chief Mike Chitwood for Daytona Beach Police told people they will not tolerate looting. He said that he will have officers out and about as much as he can. He also advised people to watch out for their neighbors. In Volusia County, Kelly Joyce, Fox 35 News.
We've warned you for days, and now it appears Hurricane Matthew is about to make landfall.
This area has never seen a hurricane to the magnitude that Matthew back to you is expected to be.
Your time has run out to get out.
And the rain is really, really, really picking up here.
Right now, curfews are in place.
Be prepared to stay off the roads throughout the weekend.
Don't go outside during the storm. Think about the debris that's going to be flying around.
And we just got the latest track where Matthew was expected to hit. Fox 35 has you covered.
Right now on Fox 35 News at 11.
Wind, rain, and flooding. Hurricane Matthew is almost here.
Yeah, the storm is not a joke. Team coverage continuing now at 11 o'clock. We're going to get right over to Chief Meteorologist Glenn Richards. Latest path, correct?
Latest path is in. Just came in a few minutes ago. Good news. It has shifted a little to the right. So this is the trend we've been finding. Again, we've been noticing as we've been watching along our white line that we put out to help us with the trend to see if it's going to, in fact, stay along this path. It is now jogging a little bit to the right. It's been pretty consistent just to the right of that line, which keep it just offshore. So here's the latest in from the Hurricane Center. Winds 135 miles per hour. Movement is northwest at 13, but those winds are in a real small area just north and east of the center. And if this stays offshore, those real strong winds will stay offshore. Doesn't mean we still won't get hurricane force winds along the coast. It just means that those stronger 100 plus type winds, those would be right now staying offshore. Again, the latest track, here it is, just came in, showing as we head towards about 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. So our timing is definitely right on. Still calling about 8 a.m. at its nearest point. Winds will be down to 125, so showing some weakening, which is good here. And we're seeing signs of that. Reconnaissance aircraft is just flying through it, setting off some drop signs. And in the western eye wall, it was only picking up on winds around 55 miles per hour. Did you get that? Western eye wall, not like well away from the eye, but the western eye wall, only 55 mile per hour winds at the surface. So that is great news. So it looks like it is asymmetrical when it comes to the wind field. The greatest concentration, without a doubt, is all just to the east and northeast of a very small center of the hurricane. And if now with the brand new path, remember earlier today, brought it in right around here, well now it's back out here. So it's a little bit farther to the east. It could still be farther to the east or it could be a little bit to the west, but right now the trend is back right. And we expected to see this kind of tweaking with the system as it approached, but this is what we want to see, it being just farther offshore. And if the wind field is asymmetrical and we have the stronger winds...
Power off.
You know, guys.
Power on. Your device.
Even more. So this is fantastic news. It's not etched in stone. It's not here yet, but it's getting close. And there's not much more opportunity to tweak this forecast before it actually hits as we head towards around 8 a.m. for tomorrow. And then still the long term, you can see how it kind of loops around. In some of the models, notice it goes down to 60 miles per hour, loops it all the way back, and actually brings it down around West Palm Beach or areas to the south. As we get into the day on Tuesday, just as a wee little kind of hybrid tropical system, almost wannabe. So we're going to keep with the waves running about 10 to 12 feet. That's still going to be occurring. Definitely. Surge 7 to 11. We may actually trend that down a little bit, but right now we'll keep it at 7 to 11 for the storm surge. We're tracking that a little while ago, about 20 minutes ago. You saw how the surge was approaching the coast and just now hitting it. So the waves are really starting to ramp up. It's dark out right now, so we really can't see that, but that is what is occurring. The seas, the waves are increasing. The heavy rain threat is still definitely there. So this is still a major event along the coastline, but these winds didn't have time to update the graphic because this just came in about a minute and a half ago. But the winds, instead of 75 to 110, we'd be more like in that 75 to 80 along the coastline. 7 to 11 foot storm surge inland and to the east of downtown, and it's still going to be a major impact. But right now we're going to knock these numbers down to 50 to 70 instead of 70 to 90. Still a risk of tornadoes, still 6 to 12 inches of rain. So again, the big deal here is that we were tweaking the winds down. And west of Orlando, moderate impact still expected. 30 to 50, we're going to knock that down, believe it or not, to about 20, gusts to about 40 miles per hour west of Orlando. Still 5 inches of rain. And speaking of rain, look at the heavy rain right now, still really coming down. And this has been setting up over the same area, over towards Apopka, extending up towards now west of Sanford up towards Orange City and DeLand. Many of the areas from Lake Mary and Sanford and out to the west, especially out towards Apopka, have seen over 3 to 5 inches of rain already. There's some little localized flooding going on. So here's the center of Matthew, moving north and east, and you can really pick out pretty clearly exactly where those strong winds are, right there in the red. So it's just this one zone right here is where we've got those winds of about 135 miles per hour. As soon as you get here on the west side, they drop off tremendously. And if the center stays offshore, you kind of get a feel as to what we're going to get. It is going to be windy. There will still definitely be power outages. It's still dangerous. Doesn't mean you go back and say, oh, it's not going to be that bad. No, you do not do that. That's no graph. Ignore it. So again, we are expecting to see this system produce the same type of damage we were expecting, but the good news here, we will not have the big destructive power of the 130-mile-an-hour winds hitting the coastline. It looks like we're still going to be dealing with king force winds, but that is going to be about the extent of it. Again, heavy rain will continue. There's more bands of rain on the way. Bob and Sunny, I'll have much more, again, on the additional rain in our forecast for later tonight, and also the timing of the rain and the wind for tomorrow. That's coming up.
Sounds good. Glenn, thanks so much. Our team coverage continues right now in Volusia County.
Yeah, let's get out to Matt Trezza and find out how the conditions are right now. Matt, how you doing? It's interesting since we've been out here seeing the kind of pattern that repeats as the bands of the hurricane. Times when it's tremendous rain, there's times when it's actually pretty calm, and there's times like now when it is extremely windy. We're seeing the wind batter this area. The trees are all going back and forth, and the streetlights are all waving back and forth as these very strong winds now pushing through the area, and probably some rain to follow. That's been the pattern as we've been out here the last couple of hours. As we've been out here, the only other people that we've been seeing on the streets are police officers as they go up and down making sure that everyone is either sheltered safe in place or that they're well on their way to finding another place further inland or farther north to get inside and away from the force of Hurricane Matthew as it barrels down on this area. Now, there is a mandatory curfew in effect in Volusia County from midnight until 7 a.m. And if you're out on the streets at that time and just kind of hanging out, you could be subject to a misdemeanor penalty if police decide to stop you. Otherwise, they say, though, if you've decided to leave your home and travel somewhere to seek safety, people evacuating during that midnight to 7 a.m. period are not going to be charged. That's still probably a better idea to get off the roads and into a safe place at this moment, because as the darkness hours are here and the hurricane is bearing down, it's a dangerous time to be out on the streets. So be sure that you are hunkered down and staying safe as Hurricane Matthew continues its way toward our area. For now, live in New Smyrna, Matt Trezza, Fox 35 News. Matt, thank you much. We've got our team coverage continuing now. We've got Holly Bristow.
Yes, she is live tonight in Melbourne along the Intracoastal with the very latest there. Holly.
Well, Maddie seems to be getting bigger and uglier by the minute out here. We're in the midst of getting some really good gusts of wind. If you take a look behind me, we've been showing you the water out here all night. It looks like we're on the ocean. It's hard to believe that we're on the Intracoastal, that these waves are just barreling in here. This is typically a pretty calm river where people enjoy sailing and water skiing and wakeboarding, and that's definitely not something that you'd want to do right now. There's actually a couple of dinghies that have washed up that are getting banged around on the rocks right there. That one of them actually looks like the boat's actually coming apart at this point. It's getting so bad that the Melbourne police officer told us that just about an hour ago they pulled all of their officers off of the beach side and had them come over to the mainland. I asked him how his drive over the bridge was, and he said it was starting to get pretty dicey and that their officers are going to be staying on this part of the side of the river. Whew, there goes another big gust. Until after comes and goes. So at this point, it is apparently starting to get real ugly beachside. We're just getting a taste of what's going on over here, and you can just see the way that this water is just barreling over in here and spraying all over the place. These waves are just absolutely amazing. I mean, these look like we should be looking at the ocean right now. This is a river that's spent quite a bit of time in childhood boarding and water skiing, and I can tell you I've definitely never seen it like this before. Another thing that I found of interest when we were over beachside earlier tonight and talking to a satellite beach, he was estimating that probably only about a third of the folks living in satellite
Beach evacuated. Another big gust of wind, which is pretty surprising considering the warnings that have gone out and just knowing how big a storm it is that so many people would roll the dice and take a gamble and see how they fare in a storm like this, especially since this area has never seen a Category 4 hurricane or anything like this, at least in recent years. Wow. You're getting a good taste of some of the breeze that we're getting in here. I'll tell you, we're at the point now that I've got to make sure that my feet are flat on the ground, because the second I start swirling around here, I'm starting to get pushed forward by the wind, and it's definitely starting to pick up. Another thing that the police officer came over and told us a few minutes ago, there's some power lines that are going to a light pole that's on the far side of the camera. He's estimating that those are probably, I would bet the next time he's probably going to be at a different location because it's starting to get pretty ugly over here. Sunny, Bob? All right, Holly, thanks so much for the update. We'll continue to check back with her throughout the night.
They are making sure that folks are staying off of the streets. There are 4 counties that have curfews laid.
Yeah, police officials saying they don't want you outside unless absolutely necessary. They also don't want too many people on the roads.
That's right.
Right now, Orange County under a curfew until 7 a.m. Saturday. That went into effect at 10 o'clock tonight. Flagler County has a curfew which runs from 7 p.m. or ran from 7 p.m. till 7 a.m. Volusia County with a curfew that starts at midnight and goes till 7 a.m. Saturday, and Seminole County with a curfew begin.
Alright guys, we'll be back live in a little bit. I'm gonna go do some stuff real quick, and then I'll be right back live. Keep y'all up to date. And yeah, make sure that you stay safe while you are in this hurricane. While this hurricane is coming closer to Florida and Georgia and all those other places. Be safe and yeah. Bye.